Go.
Streaming from South Africa to the world. This is the Stonks Go Moon podcast. What just happened? We break it down so you don't have to.
Welcome everyone to the Stonks Go Moon podcast. My guest today got Igor from Confiction Labs and Soby from Jai. Welcome to the pod.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, man,
multiple time frames. We've got Europe, we've got Africa, we've got Jakarta. We're all over the place. Never sleeps. Web3 never sleeps. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. I think my first question would be, why do you think RIFTSTORM struck such a chord with players during its pre-alpha playtest on Steam? What was it that just attracted, I think something like 22,000 players, if I'm not mistaken?
Correct. Yeah, I think it's one of those things. We've been building RIFTSTORM since 2021, where we kind of saw that there's a potential space for this amalgamation of the roguelite genre and looter shooter kind of genre, and we've been iterating on that sweet spot for 4 years, and I think if we didn't quite dial it in by 2024, I would be having a very different conversation with the team. But we're thrilled.
There are AAA game studios that still haven't figured this shit out. Shout out Ubisoft, go fuck yourself, right? That's how it is. So even if you've spent 3 years on a game, it doesn't mean that you're gonna get finished. But okay, so people have been playing the game for some while. And there's been a resurgence, I guess. So what do you think that resurgence was?
It's one of the things we spotted while we were doing kind of like our trend spotting studies in 2021, 2020. Mm-hmm. PvP games were kind of like getting into a standstill, and then we, I think around 2021, Tarkov, all these extraction shooters started coming in. The essence of a cooperative game, along with with how emergent some of the systems that extraction shooters, roguelite shooters kind of bring into it, just makes every single playthrough so much fresher. And then once we hit that spot with like this twin stick kind of shooter gameplay that we wanted to build in to RIFTSTORM, it just felt right. And I think we're so happy that gamers agree.
You nailed it, right? Soby, why do you think Jai's network, why do you think that blockchain network is what makes it great to power Confiction? What do you think is it about Jai's network?
For Zai, I think it's really just the abstraction, how much effort that we've put into abstraction and speed and reliability.
So for those sorry, I'm going to stop you. For those that don't know what abstraction is, what's that?
So abstraction basically means it's a fancy word to describe taking away all the complicated stuff. So it just works in the background and you don't have to deal with any of it. So what that looks like in practice for us is, instead of having to, create a wallet where you need to download or write down 12 or 14 words and you lose everything, you have an email login, right? With social recovery, that's super easy for you. Instead of having to, passing over server fees to users, gas is actually paid for you as an end user. Right, so it's all of that stuff is just put into the background where you don't have to deal with any of the clunky stuff about blockchains. Because I think, I've thought a lot about this. I've been in crypto for way too long at this point. And if you think about, for purely financial stuff, the blockchain UX is actually better than a bank, right? Yeah. Like it sucks putting in a wire, sucks having in a routing, account number, all this stuff, right? For that stuff, it makes sense why financial applications like DeFi were able to find product market fit without obsessing over user experience. Gaming, which is a consumer use case, right, which people play for intrinsic motivation or intrinsic fun, needs to have the same level of user experience, if not better, than Web 2. And that's what we've accomplished with Zai. I think something that's important too is why the abstraction stuff makes so much sense, because blockchains are notorious for being slow. We are 75 times faster, right, than like Ronin and Ethereum and Immutable, right? And we're built on top of Arbitrum, we're a layer 3, etc. So users have no idea that they literally feel like they're on a regular Web 2 server with regards to speed, latency, and user experience. But then they get all the added benefits right, of owning their assets, right? On top of this too, I think something that's important about blockchains that people maybe sometimes don't realize in the context of games is you have this globally scalable economic infrastructure to actually do things like micropayments or UGC, like UGC, user-generated content is what UGC stands for.
Yeah.
You can do that at scale. Like right now, if you were to create something in, let's say, a Minecraft or a Roblox, and let's say that thing earned you $2, right, or $1 or $2, the transaction costs for that is actually so high. It's not even worth it for me to. Yeah, it's literally more than that, right? From the administrative cost, all this stuff. And we forget that gaming is a global audience, right? In some parts of the world, if you were earning $2 to $3 a day, that's a lot of supplemental income for you, right? And as mobile gaming and gaming in general has grown, these audiences have become a lot more global. And so you could have things where, you know, a game can have a player base where these players are, you know, they're not making insane amounts of money. Maybe they're making $100 a month, right? It comes down to $3 a day.
Okay, but for $100, yeah, but $100 for someone that doesn't have $100 is a lot.
It's a lot for even people in I think in Western societies, right? Like that's $100 that for some. There's a game that I'm a big fan of and also an investor and player of called Parallel, and they've done a really good job of like this play to earn model or a win to earn model, right?
Yeah.
I have friends that I've been gaming with for like 10 years. Some of them play Parallel now, and they're earning a few $100 a month. But that's they're not playing for the game just for money. They're playing the game because they love the game. But this added benefit is like, oh wow, like I'm getting paid to play this game that I would pay for free, and that's I think a really interesting concept once you go down that path where like free-to-play games have become really boring or have like kind of copy-paste.
Yes.
And I think Web3 gaming is going to replace free-to-play gaming where users have something to aspire to where like if I'm good at the game, I'm playing the game well, I can earn some money from playing this game. Right? If you're a 16, 15-year-old kid earning $100, $200 a month, like dude, that's more money than my parents ever gave me when I was in high school or middle school,
You guys at Jai, are you focusing on the AI-related plays in terms of Web3 gaming?
We just announced a $10 million grant program with Aether.
Okay.
So we're
gonna
closely
build
with the Aether guys. Yes, we've got to build. So we'll have more on that in the next few weeks on the application process, stuff like that. And that's really focused on use cases with AI within gaming as well, like play with AI or AI generation, things like that.
Awesome. Igor, how does RIFTSTORM, let's get back into the game, blend elements from classic games like Diablo, I mean, shout out Diablo, classic game, and Helldivers into a new experience?
Oh man, like I think our kind of like 3-word, 2-word pitch is Diablo with guns, right? And a lot of us on the dev team, we grew up playing it 1, 2, 3, 4, all of it, right?
Yeah, all of it.
It's one of those things where we wanted to take some of that visceral fun that you get just by clicking. You click, you kill a few monsters, it feels great.
Yes.
And then that's very much like the basis of what RIFTSTORM's foundational design mechanics are all about. The moment you go into a dungeon, you start shooting, you're killing monsters, and that visceral feel, the impact of the bullets hitting these monsters, that has to feel great. And that is very much inspired by Diablo. Where we start to differ there is like, how can we make it a bit more emergent? And that's where a lot of these roguelite elements come in. That's where a lot of the scale of our dungeons start to come in. That we take a lot of inspiration from Helldivers in terms of, can you go around a semi-open world in this kind of enclosed space and have new experiences time and time again, room from room, floor to floor? It's always going to be different because you're getting new power-ups, you're getting new enemies, and you're getting new encounters all of it. And so that mix, we believe, is something that is, well, we personally want to see in the gaming space, and we're hoping that the players will agree with us.
How much do you rely or take into account user-generated content? We talked about user-generated content, like people making YouTube videos and putting it online and talking about the game, because when I always go and research, and I saw a lot of YouTube videos, positive ones about RIFTSTORM, and people talking good about the game. Is that something you guys check, Because I know some guys like, we don't really, we're just going to do our thing and hope it resonates. Other people sort of, oh, okay, we'll see what the community says, and then we sort of tweak and go. What do you guys do?
Oh, absolutely. Like for us, I think marketing with KOLs and UGC content on YouTube and from gameplay videos, that is just ingrained into the game ecosystem at this point, right? And if you're not actively encouraging it, and if you're not actively working with these people, I think you're missing out on so much feedback. And a lot of these guys, they play games for a living. They play games more than we do, and their insights are amazing. Some of the stuff, like we've spoken with a few KOLs over the last few years, and just a few offhand comments here and there, like, oh shit, that's a great idea. Let's actually integrate this. And we've been having playtests since 2021. Every year we do 1 or 2 playtests. We're always onboarding more and more creators. We're onboarding more and more users. And every time we're learning more and more about how we can make RIFTSTORM better. And that's across the board, whether you're a KOL or just a player.
Yeah, because every new intake is a new cohort of people, right? So
exactly.
Okay, awesome. Last question before I let you guys leave. It's a question for you both, but you can choose which one goes first. Cross-platforming play is becoming huge, right? Because people want to go from their mobile to their desktop to whatever they want to go all over. It's not just one thing. How important sort of is it for you guys as a feature for RIFTSTORM to be like cross-platform compatible, or are you just focusing on one platform?
I can speak for RIFTSTORM. For us, cross-platform is absolutely where we want to be. From the get-go, all of our code bases, we take extra time developing every single build because the code has to be clean so that when we're ready, we're able to immediately port to console, to mobile. Assets are a whole other story. That's a completely separate nightmare that we'll deal with later. But at least from a technical standpoint, we're ready. The goal for RIFTSTORM generally is as many players as possible. And so while we're launching on PC, the hope is we're talking with Sony, we're talking with Xbox, and we're talking with Google. We're ready to port as soon as these marketplaces are ready for us.
Is Xbox still going? Sorry, it's just a side. Because now interesting you say we're talking to Xbox, and Xbox doesn't look like they really want to do anything. Microsoft, I don't think they've got the appetite for gaming anymore. Am I reading that wrong?
I would disagree. I think the Microsoft game ecosystem is growing strong. It's one of those things where I think they've doubled down on a lot of legacy titles. Halo, Microsoft Flight Simulator, they're growing. But just looking at how the Xbox ecosystem has grown, it's such a easy to use ecosystem to get into. Minecraft lives on the Xbox ecosystem now, on the Microsoft ecosystem. A lot of these games live on there, so there's very much a massive market there that we want to tap into as well. Maybe I can pass it to Soby.
Soby, same question to you, but more as it relates to Jai, I guess.
Can you hear me with the question again?
The question was, how important is cross-platforming for you guys? Like being able to play a game from on your cell phone and take it to your desktop. Are you guys looking at is that a critical point for you, or is it not something that you guys are looking at?
It's so cross-platforming, I think, is super important in the sense of, getting at the end of the day, you need distribution, right? Yes. That's the most important thing, is distribution. Yes. So it's important that games are able to get listed on, not just get listed on Steam, not just get listed on the Epic Games Store, but also have something we could. Yeah, also like shelf space, right? Like kind of when you go to the grocery store, the cereal box that's front and center, you're more likely to buy that one than the one that's on the bottom shelf, right? Out of reach, out of mind. So I think as we're seeing more and more high quality games such as RIFTSTORM go live and people start to understand the benefits of Web3, I think you'll see a lot more of displacement. For us at Zai, we work really closely with publishers and these other Web2 platforms. We have very good relationships with them, so we can help our games do that. I also think you'll actually start seeing more and more games go to console, which I think will be really exciting to get that player base in. I think in the future as well, I can see more and more games becoming like quasi multi-chain. I don't think that's the future right now because not many games or chains are focused on this.
Okay.
But as you have games that want to break into different regions, right, and these different regions have different fiat on and off ramps, right, that are important for crypto. I can see a game that goes, hey, I want to get really big in Korea, partnering with the Korean chain partner there as well, in addition to maybe they're working with Zyre or Arbitrum or whatever, right?
Makes
and
sense.
so I think that these platforms are quite important, but what's equally as important is making sure that the infrastructure and the middleware to get these users that experience exists on these platforms, right? So there's a lot of effort and work going into designing APIs and Web3 stuff and all this stuff that could, again, using that word abstraction, be abstracted away from the end user, but they could still feel the magic, right, of the things that these technologies could provide.
Awesome. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me today. If the listeners want to go and connect with you, Igor, where can they do that and where can they find RIFTSTORM?
So RIFTSTORM is on Steam right now. You can search it on the Steam store. We're always following there. We're also on Twitter, but play RIFTSTORM on Twitter and Confiction Labs on Twitter as well. All the information is there.
Awesome. And
Thank you so much for having me.
where can people find Jai?
On Zy Games on Twitter, Zy.games on our website. You can go on our Discord as well. That's XAI _games and XAI.games.
Awesome. And we'll put all the links in the comment. Thank you so much for joining me today. And to our listeners, peace, love, and prosperity. Catch you next
tonight. They thought we'd fall, give up, give in, divided and alone. But we built a team of heroes, forged from fire, flesh and bone. Leveling up through every hit, breaking through the endless clones. If we want to see the sunrise, gotta make this world our own. But in this game there's more than win or lose. It's about the friends that we get to choose. We're breaking the rifts, escaping the night. Together we stand, we will win this fight. The walls are caving, the enemy swarm. But side by side we'll weather the storm. Breaking the rifts, taking the lift out of this war, back to the light. Together we're so we're breaking the rift tonight. Take some dreams, shining schemes in the chaos. We found our team. Hand in hand, code, we will carry each other home. We're breaking the rift, escaping the night. Together we stand, we're